Welcome to Girl She Did That podcast. We're bringing Sandy. Oh, you got a remix on the song. Okay. You gonna do the song? Let's hear the song.
Ad-lib. Yeah.
Let's hear the song.
Oh. Welcome. All right. Welcome back. Hey, to Girl She Did That. Welcome back.
Okay, welcome back to the Girl She Did That. All right, so first things first.
I'm the realist. Doom.
First things first. Okay, focus. What are you drinking tonight?
Today, I'm drinking Apothic Red.
Oh, that's classy. Where you get that from?
You know, you can really get it anywhere. Publix, Walmart, Trader Joe's.
No, the folks cancel Walmart.
What?
But I can't talk because I got my sangria from the Sands Club. So
Wait.
I think the Sands Club is canceled too.
Yo, where have I been?
My mama says that you can't go shop on the 28th at the Target.
Uh-huh.
I think it was the Walmart.
Uh-huh. Oh, that list just came out like yesterday. Okay.
I mean, listen, she keep up with all of that.
No, I thought we had like been canceled Walmart. This is like recent. Okay.
Apparently on the 28th of this month, you can't go buy nothing.
I heard.
So what am I supposed to do for groceries on Friday?
You're supposed to buy your groceries before, because that's how we strike now, is that we buy all the resources before so that we don't buy it on the day of.
Well, I'm going to store the day after because my family got to have groceries. I'm sorry.
Listen, we're trying to figure out what I've learned about us as Black people is that we're trying to figure out how to strike without suffering.
We ain't figured that out yet. We're not there.
That's what I'm saying. But we're literally in like the thick of it. Like we're like trying to figure out like, okay, how can we give it to the man, but I also do not suffer. Like, you know what? Don't buy groceries on the 28th as if the 27th is better.
Yeah, but I need to talk to Martin Luther King and somebody in one of them because they had it together during the civil rights movement. I need to talk to one. I need to talk to one of them because this suffering that we going through right now. What? What's the question?
How you gonna talk to Martin Luther King?
I don't know. Okay. God, ancestors, descendants, somebody. Y'all needs to come on down, fall in somebody's dream, do something to tell us how we need to get through this.
Did you say fall into somebody's dream?
Fall into somebody's dream, something. I don't care what you do. But we need to talk to y'all. And we need to talk to y'all ASAP. Okay? Because that's what this is. This is giving the civil rights movement of 2025. Okay?
They all suffered. They all were around the same economic status. We in different economic status as Black people. We got some broke Black people. We got some we doing all right Black people. We got some doing really good Black people. Mm-hmm. So everybody's not on the same level of suffering. So they're not going to be on the same level to suffer.
But you know was Martin Luther King, was he really like on the same level? He was doing more than all right. He had a whole entourage.
Yeah, I think that he was doing but I think that he was doing more than but he was also still faced with the same type of like racism. So it was like he was coming up, but he was still being thrown with like, but you still a Black man. Like, so it's like you're popular amongst your people, but when you come to the white side, you still gotta sit in the back of the restaurant. As a matter of fact, you gotta sit in the Black side of the restaurant.
Oh God! I hope we don't go back.
And you Martin Luther King, you know.
I hope we ain't gotta go back to that because I ain't gonna be able to survive. That's just I don't even know how we got on this topic, but
I was just saying, you know.
I can't. I'm at a loss for words. But anywho, Today we talking about messy, blessed, and still winning. Girl, don't be messy. We talking about that today. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of messiness going on right now in the world. All this calamity in the world. All this chaos, calamity in the world.
Put it on my vocabulary.
Okay, so before we get into the actual topic, who are we honoring today?
Today, speaking of mess, but she's not the mess.
Mm-hmm.
What she has endured and overcome, or probably still overcoming, mess. We are honoring today Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes, with the knees, with the knees, with the knees.
I got Megan knees.
Do you?
Yeah, we see right now.
I'm a savage.
Hey.
Classy, bougie, ratchet. You know what I'm saying? I get that ish from, what they call it, Gina. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So yes, we are honoring Megan Thee Stallion. She had went through a lot of mess with Tory Lanez and her best friend not being on her side through circumstance. And it was just a lot. Her getting shot in the foot, and then her getting into it with Nicki Minaj, and then it was just like a lot of people not believing her when she was trying to tell her story. Along with that, she was trying to save Tory at one point, but then Tory wasn't being cooperative or being honest and upfront. So she went through a lot of mess and went through, trial and, winning. And it was just a lot of stuff that she went through that she overcame. And so, we are honoring Megan Thee Stallion for overcoming the mess.
The mess. Her documentary was actually really, really good.
It was
so if y'all get a chance to watch it, you absolutely should, because it was
my mother has never told me to pop it harder. And
okay.
I feel like
harder.
Every mother should tell their daughter, you can pop a little harder. Pop a little harder. Hey.
Oh.
Pop a little harder. So yeah, instead of being like, oh no, pop it a little harder. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pop that thing just a tad bit.
Is that what you got out the is that what you got out of the documentary?
For sure.
Wow.
I was like, hey, my mom ain't never told me to twerk on. She actually told me not to do it at all.
Exactly.
She was like, nah, don't pop that thing. But Megan is getting paid to pop that thing. You can see it. I haven't seen her in concert. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Okay. If you ain't doing this to a Megan song, you ain't ready. You ain't ready. Just this all day.
Are you stupid?
Yeah. What? Feel like you're that girl every time. Like flat booty and all.
Not flat booty and all.
Still that girl. Doesn't matter. Plus size.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Let me jump into this first question then.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So why is it so important to own your own? Why is it so important to own your mess instead of hiding it? You lost for words?
No. I had to think about it. I had to think about it. Because it really depends. With your mess, it depends on who needs to be involved and who don't need to be involved. For an example, I feel like with Megan, like I couldn't imagine being in the public eye going through that situation. Like Megan was in a bikini. And she got shot in the foot. And it's like recorded. Like people could go and Google her trauma. And having to go through that circumstance alone without her parents.
Right.
I couldn't imagine going through something like that. I think that I think that mess that should be talked about and disclosed is something that could be potentially harmful to someone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're in a relationship or you are in a friendship or something like that, and somebody discovers something later on that they needed to know, and it could become messy because they don't have all the information in order to help assist you, or they're now getting on a board with something with you, but they don't know all the pieces. They don't know all the players that are involved. I think that that's when, you should get in front of the mess before the mess ends up impacting everybody, and you don't want to blindside somebody.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mm. Well, what was my question one more time? Why is it important to own your own mess instead of hiding it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you owning it shows that you have insight into what is going on. But just because you have insight into that stuff, that doesn't mean that you want to change what the mess is, right? Sometimes we bring mess willingly because we want the perks of what's happening with the mess, right? And then we realize that, oh, it's going to be some long-term detriments if I continue to engage, but it still feels good. So it's instant gratification.
Like toxic.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever been with somebody, you dated somebody, and they was toxic, but it was still good?
Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
that didn't last very long.
Exactly. But it gratified what you needed in that moment.
It kind of messed up my nervous system, actually.
I'm sure it did, but you didn't think about that nervous system at that time.
I didn't think about the nervous system because it wasn't something that I thought of at the time. I personally, when it comes to relationships, I don't like mess. I'm at the age where I'm just like, wrap it up.
I mean, yeah, this tender age. I'm not gonna go there. But
okay, let's not. Hold on, my mind. Okay, here we go.
At this tender age, yes, no. But when we was early 20s,
yeah,
mid 20s, maybe even late 20s, we was engaging in the foolishness because it felt good. It felt like, oh my God, this is what I need. This is what I want right now. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But then there are long-term effects to that. So
yeah, it feels good to get back at somebody when they play in your face, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Short term, like I need to get back. Like I need to get this monkey off my back. Like you're not gonna play in my face. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that your shit don't stink. You're not gonna piss on me and call it rain. Like you're just not gonna do that. So I get what you're saying when it comes to that. Absolutely. And I think that when you get older, you're just kind of like, this person's already suffering. And it's not that I don't want to add to their suffering. It's just that my get back, my crash out can never overcome the bullshit you're already facing.
Right. Right. No. I definitely was petty though in my 20s.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Especially if I had any inkling that you was playing in my face.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm that girl. I'm going back on that dating app. Date the next day.
Boom, done.
I'm not like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm that, no.
Yeah. Boom, done. For sure.
The spitefulness. But I'm glad. Growth. Ain't that growth?
God's still working on me.
Not God still working. Not the Lord. Not he's still working. The Lord is still working.
I gotta give him some work to do.
He's still in the blessing business.
Hey.
Okay. Oh. Come on, God. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think chaos is necessary for growth? Or can we learn lessons without the mess?
I definitely believe it's necessary. And can you learn lessons without it? Of course. But these lessons, I think, hit harder because you remember them better.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You remember that one thing or those things that happened that you're like, okay, you know what? I got this in the back of my mind. So if I see any resemblance of this, I'm done. Just like you said, at this tender age, we like, no, I'm not dealing with that. Like
Yeah.
I'm just finished, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that also comes with wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to be wise in knowing and knowing something like that. So I think, yes, I think you definitely need some form of chaos to know, especially if you're in a committed relationship, you need to know how your partner is going to be able to navigate the chaos, right? And who is going to show up, right? If what are your roles, or what's your roles going to be in that?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you somebody that's going to be like, oh yeah, get him. I told you, get him, or are you going to be like, well, you know what? Let's process and think about this for a minute before we make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Instead of allowing your emotions or awfulizing about the situation before you even get to the next steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that in a perfect world, I would love to not learn lessons through mess. Um, I would love to not learn lessons, not have to learn lessons through chaos. I would love that. But I agree 100% with you. Like, unfortunately, because we are humans and we are people who have to see it in order to believe it.
Right.
Unfortunately, you do have to learn through chaos and through um a mess. And I think that also you don't know what you don't know, right?
True.
And you have to test the boundaries because you have to, I just think that innately most people are just risk takers. So you got to know where the line is. And if you don't know where the line is until you get close, like, you just don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Because your line might be different than my line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for you, you might be like, oh yeah, like I don't do this with my husband and da da da. For me, I might be like, oh no, I can take it there. And matter of fact, I'm going to take it there, right? So I think that those boundaries, those lines can be different from person to person. But yeah, I really do wish that there were situations, a lot of situations where you didn't have to learn lessons through chaos. And
Yeah.
I think that being on the other side of like telling people like, hey, like the chaos is around the corner if you go that direction. And they're like, no, like the situation is different from me. Like I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. And I just be like, oh, okay, different.
Okay. Right.
Okay, different. And then like, they end up coming back to you being like, oh my God, like this what happened to me, and like da da da, and like this, and it's just so hard to not be like, but you knew that. But you didn't know that through experience.
Right.
You knew that through someone telling you about their wisdom. But the only reason why I know is because of my experience. But you don't know because of your experience. You only know through my wisdom. And I think that that's where the difficulty comes in when it comes to like learning through wisdom than learning through your own chaos and your own learned experiences. Is that like you now have seen you use all your senses to be like, okay, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't do that. Got it. Check that box. So yeah.
Okay. My next question is, what's a messy celebrity moment you secretly related to?
I don't know. You're going to have to answer that question. I have to think about that.
I don't know. That's why I asked too.
Wow, on the podcast.
Sorry. Okay, let me think. Man.
That was messy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to give something from Housewives.
I was thinking about Married to Medicine.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Um,
Uh,
I mean, I was. I know. Okay, let's go to the next one.
okay.
Yeah, okay, go to the next.
Not being able to ask questions to our own podcast.
I know, right?
Whoops. Okay. Do you think society pressures women to hide their struggles to appear perfect?
Oh, almost cuss.
Oh.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh,
Beep, 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 beep.
of course they do. They put all of this pressure on us to be a certain way, and then if we have a moment that's not of society standards, then we are labeled certain things, you know. And I appreciate the women that could talk about the things that they've been through. Like Fantasia is a good example of this. She's been through a lot of stuff in her life, but she never forgets where she comes from. You know, she's able to talk about and walk through a lot of her traumas, you know, and I appreciate that about her because she's never afraid to talk about the things that she's been through, right? And she's never forgotten who she is and who she belongs to. I appreciate that about her. Mm. Are you is it shut up in your bones? Is it shut up in your bones?
Yeah, I got the spirit, but I had to get back in the podcast. Whoops.
Oh, Bray, you is
You almost
fun.
had me, but Jesus came to grab me.
Oh my god.
Woo!
What's wrong with you?
Oh, Lord.
Oh my god. Okay, what you think? Will you come on back? Come on
Okay.
back.
I agree. I think that the pressures of women to hide their struggles to appear perfect. I think that we've gotten better, obviously, from like our parents' generation. I think that we constantly push that boundary and those barriers for our parents. And I think that it makes them uncomfortable. But I think that having those uncomfortable conversations definitely are beneficial for bridging the gap between mother and daughter. So that when, you know, as millennials and Gen Zs are having babies and all that good stuff, the conversations won't be as there's conversations you won't have to have because you've already had them with parents because you're gonna face your own things that you're gonna have to like bridge the gap with your you know your children. I think that, you know, the pressure of being a woman in general is hard. Because if you make a mistake, it feels like as if you're being crucified for making that mistake, or it's like you always are supposed to know better. Even when somebody has told you like, oh yeah, like, you know, having lived experience often feels more like consequences.
Yeah.
All the time. And so there's not much space for, and I'll say more so Black women, to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can be life threatening from making those mistakes, like dating the wrong guy, or, you know, being in a place that you thought was safe, but it ends up not becoming so safe. So people think that automatically you should have these instincts to just go and run. You know what I'm saying? Like life can't just happen. So I think that, you know, the struggle to always have the right answers and to always know exactly what to do in all situations and circumstances, I feel like are unrealistic and unfair expectations.
Yeah. I definitely feel that pressure this week, for sure.
Speak on it. Speak on it, girl.
I mean, I can't speak too much about it, but I definitely feel like, huh? You said what?
Confidentiality. All right now.
Yeah, confidentiality, but I definitely feel like I just cannot. That's where I'm at. Like I just I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm also going to stand in what my truth is, right? I'm going to be resolute in what I firmly believe and what I hold as important. And I think when you do fight that fight, sometimes it's hard doing it by yourself because people don't understand, the reasons behind why you do certain things or why, you say certain things or you move around the way that you do. But I think this week's lesson for me, as I told you yesterday, is to take a page out of all the Black women in America's book. And that's to stand on silence. Okay? Stand on silence and move in silence. Because I'm done talking at this point. I'm done having conversations. I am really like, I'm going to just be silent. And however it falls, it will fall.
Yep.
And I'm going to just be like, I told you. But you ain't want to listen. Sometimes people got to learn things, like you say, through experience. And not because you told them. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless
I felt it in my nose. I was like, yeah. Yeah.
I got the bite, Holiday. I got the bite.
I thought I was going to be able to hold it, but it was like, get out. Sorry.
Woo.
My bad.
It's all good.
Okay. Oh, you got the next question.
Oh. Let me check
we skipped one of the questions.
Let me check my Palm Pilot. It's my turn. Okay. What's one messy situation you are grateful for now? Grateful. Okay. You've been in quiet rehearsal too long.
Everybody mad. Anyway. One messy situation that I've been grateful for. I don't think I've necessarily been grateful for any messy situations. Not necessarily to the extent of gratefulness. I think that I've been grateful to get out of messy situations. But not necessarily happy that they happened. But I am grateful to be able to get out of like toxic, chaotic situations due to my lessons being learned.
Yeah.
Like knowing that like, hey, this road looks kind of familiar. You remember the last time you was on this road? Yep. And it goes so well, did it? Nah. So what you think you should do? Yeah. You should probably make a turn. Sounds like a plan. Probably stop and be like, don't want to be in this neighborhood. So let's make a U-turn. You don't have to turn the page. I read the story. Okay. Don't turn it, don't turn the page. You know what I'm saying? Yes. You don't want to go in circles like Mark used to. I actually wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about Atlantic Star. I think that's Atlantic Star. You got me going in circles. You know what I'm saying? And around we go. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Get me off. I'm getting motion sickness. Get me off this ride. So I think that if I am grateful, I think I'm grateful for not lasting in messy situations as long as I used to. Okay. So I think that I'm grateful for being able to pick up on things quicker. And I think that we talked about this, how our cutoff game has become even better. Sometimes people feel like it's up in the air, 50-50 maybe. How people are like, oh, you shouldn't cut off people and this and that, or whatever. We don't cut off people very often, but when it's time to go, it's time to go. I don't cut off people very often. Oh, that's what my thinking errors. I'm sorry. Yeah, gotta go. I haven't. I mean,
Okay.
I've cut off recently, but before that, it's been a minute.
Okay.
Like,
All
I
right.
remember when I was younger, it was literally every year I was cutting off somebody. Like, when people had those Facebook posts, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like, yeah, every year somebody gotta go. You know, it was me. That was me. It was like, yeah, you're not coming into 2018 with me. You know? But now I'm just like,
And they was right in 2018 with you. So
no, ew.
I mean, some people, for some people,
Some
maybe.
people were not. No. Some people
I'm
were
not. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking
not.
about just when people make that post, they still take that person right on to the next year.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
no, we just talked about it. Like, no. Block.
No, 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 no.
There's some people who still block in 2018. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the answer to my question. The answer to your question.
Okay. All right. You got
You go
any
ahead.
questions? Oh, you want me to answer it?
Yes.
Uh, okay. Something I was grateful for in a mess. I mean, when I think about where I am as far as right now being married, yes, I'm grateful for all those people that I dated to get to who I am, to get to who I'm with now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because it made me appreciate that everybody is not built like this one over here,
Amen.
and that he is the only person that I truly can say like this is my soulmate. Like he's not somebody. It's not anybody else I would rather or want to be within him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm grateful for going through that process. Now that I know what's on the other side of the process, maybe not so much before that, but
Okay.
hmm
How do
hmm
you know when it's time to stop leaning into the mess and start making changes?
ooh, leaning in because I got to lean out. Yeah, zoom out. Uh,
Oh, you said it before I did.
oh, okay, sorry. How do I know? How do you know? Well, I can't really quote this person, but when you get fed up and you get tired, that should be the number one sign, right?
You
When
talking about
you,
R. Kelly? La, da, 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 da.
I wasn't gonna say the man's name. Yeah.
La,
Okay. Nope. No,
la,
Brianka.
da, da.
Brianka.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to finish it.
Anyway, I think that's the first sign. Like when you just feel like it's becoming exhausting, like it's mentally exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you feel like you say like your nervous system, like when you start having those physical symptoms of
Mm-hmm.
not feeling good, you know, you have a stomach ache, you got a headache, your eyes might twitch, your leg might go out. I mean, it's anything that's causing you that a significant amount of stress,
For sure.
um, that should definitely be a red flag that it's time to step up out of it. Um, I think if the mess is causing any sort of like physical harm or verbal harm, emotional abuse or something like that, definitely red flag. It's time to be done, you know. But I think those are like the major things like I could think of.
Yeah, I agree. I think that also when it's time to stop leaning into the mess, I don't know for you, but I think that for me, it comes to a point like my brain clicks. Like I literally
Mm,
can feel my brain go click.
mm,
Cause like it's like I feel the shift and I'm like, I don't like where this is going. I feel like things are getting out of control and I don't know how to control it. And I kind of don't want to because I don't feel like it's my responsibility to do that type of
yeah.
thing.
Mm,
And I think that like my brain just gets to like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's where like shutdown just starts going in. Like it's just like literally like I'd rather just cut off my pinky just to save my hand. Like, that's where I go. And I don't know where that comes from. I have no intentions. I mean, I could find out where it comes from, but like I told you before, I have no intentions on changing that about myself. But I do feel like, you know, once all of that like cloudiness and mess, like I'm able to control it, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I feel so much better. So I think that when it's time to stop leaning into the mess, when it's time to stop leaning into the chaos. And I think that also when you realize when you're a part of the chaos and you're a part of the mess, because I think that oftentimes people are like, oh yeah, like he's toxic, she's toxic, but you've been in a relationship with her for 10 years. So you tell me at after 10 years, like even if you
ain't
were
toxic.
right, like even if you were a person who was, conflict resolution and was willing to have difficult conversations and like all this stuff, you can't survive with someone who doesn't align with that. Like that's where the equal yoke part comes in. Is that like you may not necessarily be the greatest at communication, but at least you're trying to communicate and be a better communicator, right? But if you are a person who is spiteful, in order to maintain this relationship, to some extent, you have to be spiteful. So it's like, and if this person is not responding to you, when that person does something wrong or what you deem to be wrong, what's the first thing that you're going to do?
Right.
You're going to end up not talking to them for the same amount of days, if not more days. So now this has now become a part of y'all's relationship.
Right.
Now, the verbal, the emotional, like y'all are both now doing it, but yours just might look different than your partner's. So I think that, people have to understand that after a certain time, or when you see that this person, not only when they exhibit bad character traits, but that they don't want, or they don't have the they don't have the want to change those things about themselves, like, because you now have brought it to them, and you're giving them insight, like, hey, like, I don't like how you shut down when we have conversations and you just feel like you don't have to communicate with me. Like, if you feel so strongly in this moment, like, you could just let me know, like, hey, I need a little bit of time, da, 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 da. But if this person continues to operate the same way, then you have some options, but you have a choice that you need to make.
Right.
So it's either you're going to engage or be passive, and even that can be toxic. I think that oftentimes people think that being passive aggressive is not being toxic because it's not forward. It's just as harmful. Yeah, it's just as harmful, if not more harmful, because yours isn't an immediate effect. It's like throughout time.
Yeah.
So, that also impacts people's nervous system when you're passive aggressive, because when you're passive aggressive, people don't feel comfortable having conversations with you because they know that eventually it's going to come back to them. Like, they're going to feel the sting. It's not an immediate thing. It's like, oh yeah, like I know that they probably not going to make dinner tonight because they didn't like the conversation I brought up. So they're not going to pick up dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was younger, like, I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't want to go to church. And my mom would not bring home lunch.
Right. To bring out
just passive aggressive stuff. It's just like, yeah, you want to go to church, then you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, did you go to church did you go to church the next Sunday?
Yeah, but I was like,
okay,
I was 14. I was working like 2 jobs. I was cheering. I was going to like.
You was 14 working 2 jobs?
I was working a job. I was working 2 at one point.
Okay.
It wasn't as demanding. But I was working at like Old Navy and like Hollister at the same time.
Okay, you really wanted, you were so tired and you really wanted that food.
And I cheered.
Oh, and you cheered and you really wanted that food.
Yes. I just went to church.
I get
You know what I'm saying? Like, I woke up and enough time for lunch. Just church. I was hungry. I was like, oh. But the point is, is that it's still passive aggressive. So,
I mean, one could argue that maybe not.
how?
If that was the rules of her house.
That wasn't the rule. I didn't know that until she came home.
Oh, so then you knew it afterwards, moving forward.
Correct.
Okay. So then you went to church.
That's not straightforward.
So then you went to church.
Yeah, but you're also altering somebody's behavior.
The next several Sundays.
Correct.
You're really upset about that, thank you.
Oh, no, I'm not upset. I'm just giving an example of aggressiveness.
But you went to church and got that food.
Yeah. Sure. But somebody could also argue that that's manipulation.
It could be. Good to get you into them seats at the church.
It's still manipulation. Somebody's not going to church because they genuinely want to go. That's manipulation.
I mean, we can all say that for, especially if you grew up in the church. I definitely didn't want to go, but I was in that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I mean, we was in there from 6 to 10. I mean, my God.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, Jesus ain't came yet. He I mean,
correct.
6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come on, y'all.
And at one point, I went to both services.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this all day. We're gonna get my rest.
I have to go to school at like 6 something.
I know. Come on. I used to feel the exact same way, and they was not letting up on that
until 8.
Yeah, they weren't letting up on that, baby.
And then Saturday, I was either working or going out or doing something, and it's like, oh, a day of rest. No.
And don't let it be a first Sunday at that.
Even longer, because we got to eat the bread and drink the juice.
Girl, they had BTU, Sunday school, regular service, 6-hour break, the communion service. I'm like, we can't do all this in the morning time? And then got to come back on Wednesday.
Yes.
Or Tuesday or whatever day. But I mean, definitely it was a major part of my growing up. I do appreciate it. That's probably why now on Sundays, I don't go out the house on Sunday. I don't go out the house on Sundays.
But wouldn't it be like, oh, that's why I go to church on Sunday?
No, I don't go out. That is my day to commune with God by myself in my house.
So why could it not be what I wanted to do as a teenager?
I don't know. But as a grown 35-year-old, I'm about to be in this house. My mother and I actually had this conversation a couple weeks ago. And she was like, you all had something that we didn't have. I was like, what's that? She was like, y'all got all this stuff online. So she was like, even if you don't go into a physical church, you can still attend a service online. She said, we didn't have that.
And not even just online, but you could also attend it, like, let's say that you decide, like, Sunday I want to rest in general, but you can say that you want to listen to a 30-minute sermon on Tuesday. Like, that's how accessible it is. Like, I literally don't have to go to the church where, sometimes they would open the church up in the middle of the day.
Right.
For prayer altar.
Yeah. You
don't have to do that. You can literally pull up however you feel. Somebody done did a 30-minute sermon on it. Like, I use ChatGPT to get through the Bible.
What? Oh, here we go.
Hey.
Is it the paid version?
Yes.
Okay.
It just came out of my account today. I was like, oh,
okay.
where did $20 come from? Oh, that's chat. What up, B?
Not that's chat.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. I was like, where did $20 come from? Because it come up Apple. And I'm like,
oh, got you.
I'm like, oh. Apple Music be like, oh, let's take out $10, $2, $4.
I
don't even download that much music. Calm down.
That's it.
They do.
Okay, so let's wrap this up because we already passed our time.
Over the time.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another amazing episode of Girl, She Did That with Bree and Sandy. Go ahead, Bree. Take it away.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channels. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Listen to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, all the streams. We do this every Tuesday. We also have merch. Go to our Facebook and our Instagram for the merch. Click the link. all the good stuff. And we will see you guys or talk to you guys next week.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.